Hello, Paul, and everyone else there. What you doing? It is Turkey Week, and we are here to talk about traditions and what's going on. How we grew up. How many people we had over, who choked on the turkey leg.
Uh, I don't have much to add to that conversation. Thanksgiving's not really that big of a holiday for me. I can I can tell you about working Thanksgiving because I worked many a Thanksgiving. In the first Thanksgiving that I worked, I can talk about that, but that's
If you're
all
wondering
that
what
I
I'm
can get
doing,
to.
I'm putting on the Yule log. It's
Paul's
been
always
playing.
got his mind somewhere else.
It's been 24/7 playing on television here. Here we go. Classic Yule log. There we go.
Well,
And there we are. I love playing the Yule
there
log during this season.
there is a lot to get to. And speaking of the Yule log, have you ever found the DC Comics Yule log?
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, back when they did DC Universe, they did the Yule log on there, and they had different little things set up for the different heroes and villains, and it's actually pretty good. It changes here and there, and then it gets
Yeah.
to the point where it just stays the same static picture. But if you're a superhero geek like me and you love the Yule log, then that might be something for you to check out.
Well, you could leave the superhero part off and you're just a geek.
Paul, I got an itch here. But anyhow, let's get into the horror of it all first,
What?
because North Carolina made all of the news last week
Oh, really? What
because
for?
Gestapo was here.
Oh, that's
And
right. That's right. We had they decided to send ice into us. So Um, yeah, that was, and I saw where, who was it? The mayor of Hickory put out a statement today talking
yeah, and
about
they were
how he
actually hitting back at ICE, and the
they
problem
did.
was they didn't do anything to ICE with their thug-like behavior.
Yeah, the mayor of Hickory, North Carolina, was talking about how, he supports all the community, everyone here. He loves everyone, and everyone has a purpose. So anyway, um, there was a
And I
lot
did
of
share that on my Facebook today too, where
there was a lot
the
of
statement was issued.
there was a lot of protests that I saw last week as well. And I applaud them. I mean, that's your right, constitutional right to get out there and make your voice heard. So
Well, one thing that I want to point out is businesses were closing because Gestapo was literally harassing the businesses, the patrons, the employees. That is lost revenue for the business. That is lost wages for the staff. These people who are cheering that on are the same people who are the first to say, well, you just need to get a job and not worry about SNAP benefits, blah, blah, blah. There's a difference. SNAP benefits, for the most part, are going to people who have jobs and can't make ends meet, especially in this economy that Trump has created. But something I wanted to point out about Gestapo is one, there was one guy they showed from Charlotte that had his papers, was stopped twice by Gestapo. Third time, he had his window smashed out of his truck. He was literally pulled out and thrown to the ground after he had been talked to twice and didn't want to be talked to a third time. And you can't blame him. That is
no,
actually harassment.
yeah, unfortunately, they don't care too much about. They just went after brown people, and I think that that's pretty bad. But yeah, unfortunately,
Well,
no, a lot of the communities feel unsafe, and a lot of people feel unsafe. So a lot of kids didn't go to school. So and I don't blame them.
a lot of kids didn't go to school and a lot of kids protested because they didn't were and that's why they didn't go to school. But literally, 3 times the amount of normal absences were known in Charlotte because of this,
Yeah.
which is people not getting educated like they should be. But we know statistically red states are the least educated and the poorest in the nation. But as far as Gestapo goes, it's been widely reported, and I'm going to show this article here. Many of them have criminal backgrounds because they're not getting vetted properly.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yes. So you can look that up on your own. I'm not going to spend too much time on all this stuff tonight, but I do not stand with Gestapo, obviously. I do not believe in harassing people. I do not believe in going after the marginalized. I do not believe in going after one group of people because they're different or because of the color of their skin. So let's just be honest. They are thugs and bullies. They are breaking the law and they're going to have to pay the price. And we saw several Democratic leaders who have actually served in the military got together and made a video telling troops they do not have to follow illegal orders. They didn't say flat out deny your orders from your head, the um, commander in chief. There you go. I got it out. But they did say do not follow illegal orders given.
Yeah.
And Trump is having a meltdown over that because he can't deny it. If they get illegal orders, their job is to deny those orders.
Well,
You
that's to
do
stand
not
by the
break the law for the
well,
commander in chief.
they took an oath to the Constitution and they're going to uphold it. Yeah.
But also, big news today. Judge dismisses James Comey and Letitia James cases over unlawful prosecutor appointment.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Brian sent that over to me, and I think that's hilarious. If you, this administration just keeps showing that they're very inept and they don't know what they're doing. So this is just another example.
Now, this article is from CNBC.com. I'm going to read the bullet points real quick and then we'll move on from there. But senior U.S. District Judge Cameron Curry dismissed criminal cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Curry ruled that Lindsay Halligan, the interim U.S. attorney who brought both indictments, was invalidly appointed. The rulings are a major blow to Trump, who had pushed Attorney General Pam Bondi to take legal action against his perceived political foes. Huge loss for Trump. Cannot put into words how big of a loss this is for him. He is not able to go after his rivals like he wanted to. And on the part of Republicans, this one's from NBC News. Former House GOP aide charged with faking a violent political attack on herself.
Nothing surprises me anymore. It wouldn't surprise me if a UFO just landed on the South Lawn and came out and went over and took pictures with the Lincoln Memorial, and then they got back in there and then took off. That wouldn't even surprise me. It's like, what else is going to happen?
Was police found Natalie Green with her shirt pulled over her head, her hands and feet zip tied, and derogatory words written across her stomach, according to court documents. She was an aide for New Jersey Rep. Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican. And remember, Trump tried to say it's the radical left that is all the problem. Clearly, this is a case of the radical right staging a fake attack to try and push an agenda, and that is added to Trump now calling for the like reposting, I will say, calling for the hanging of Democrats who told military officials to not obey illegal orders. So it's not the radical left, folks.
Nope. It's the intolerant right.
And this next one I found very funny. It is from the Arizona Mirror. Turning Point leader, former GOP rep, pleads guilty to attempted election fraud. Right there it is.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And
I didn't.
remember, Turning Point USA is Charlie Kirk's foundation. Clearly, they broke the law. And I will scroll up so you can see it is actually from the Arizona Mirror, as I said, for those who want to look it up and get the full story. But yes, Turning Point, breaking the law. What a shock.
I've been keeping up on TikTok and Instagram, all these theories, conspiracy theories of what happened after he died, and was it the thing that shot him in the neck and all this other stuff. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out coming over this guy's death, and it's easy to go down that rabbit hole. And but yeah, it wouldn't surprise. Like I said, nothing surprises me anymore, Chris. I mean, really, it really doesn't. So, and I'm afraid it's going to keep getting ramping up and getting worse and worse, leading into the 2026 midterm election.
Well, I'm going to point out to you, you've known me for a few decades now. We'll suffice it at that. But
A
you
few
know that
decades.
I do not buy into conspiracy theories. I love the show The X Files. I love the conspiracies within, but when it comes to reality, I am pretty much by the book. I need facts. If you want to make me believe in a conspiracy theory, you have to give me real facts to back it up. And I
Yeah.
don't believe in a lot of them.
No.
And
It's like I said, it was a rabbit hole that I went down. So
well, with what I was getting to was with Charlie Kirk, I instantly saw the conspiracy theory. Like literally, his security, two different security guards making all kinds of hand gestures on the video just before the single shot rings out. As Paul is voguing over there, because we know Madonna is the greatest of all time.
well, they were
Bar
all doing,
none.
"Come on, Vogue, Vogue, Vogue." It's
But
like they were directing an airplane in.
and the Republicans are starting to fail big time. They're not backing Trump like they used to. They're starting to see the error of their ways. They realize that there's a lot in danger for them. And of course, a judge just ruled that there is no way they can use the new gerrymandered maps in Texas. And that's a big one
Oh yeah,
because Republicans were relying on Texas to swing blue or swing red all the way because of those gerrymandered maps that they didn't ask anybody, they just did. And courts found that was illegal. They cannot use them in the midterm elections. And now California has had their election to let the people decide if they should gerrymander to make up for what Texas was doing. Well, of course, several other Republican states are trying to gerrymander as well. Probably won't work out for them any better than Texas because they're not asking anybody. And I don't know if California's will hold up if it goes to court, but I love how Republicans are having a meltdown that California gave the people the voice, and
well,
the people said they want to gerrymander against the Republicans because the Republicans are so corrupt.
Well, it's just not California. There's several other states that did it as well. Let's see. It was
California is the only one that actually put it on the ballot that I've seen.
now Massachusetts actually added a seat, if I'm not mistaken. They did for Democrats. So they're all out there in force. Let's see. Brian says actually the Supreme Court put a temporary stay on the court order saying Texas couldn't use the new map. So it's a temporary stay. And yes, Brian, strike oppose. So thank you for coming in.
But that leads me to this next article that I just pulled up from Vanity Fair. There's several things, and you've seen the reports everywhere. Marjorie Taylor Greene has announced she is resigning from Congress with over a year left to go. Jasmine Crockett called her out on it, saying, "Look, if you can't take the heat of being on the opposite side of Trump for 1 week, imagine how hard it was for Jasmine Crockett to take the heat for years, and she's still fighting."
I
But that has started a new exodus that there are several Republicans rumored to be resigning from office.
well, I follow Jasmine Crockett on every social media platform there is, Instagram, Twitter, and she does a lot on TikTok as well. Um, she they had to hire extra security for her
Oh, she's
because
not
of
the
all
only
the
one.
death threats. Yeah.
All of the politicians, the Democrats who made that video telling troops not to follow illegal orders, all of them have had to beef up their security due to death threats.
And I think there's a crying shame, especially in today's political world where we've talked about this before, Chris. It seems like everything is right is wrong and everything is, wrong is right. I can't tell you the last time where, I mean, does Democrats make death threats against people? I mean, I can't remember. Now, I mean, I'm trying to remember, the only people that came after Trump so far that I can think of. Now, correct me wrong, Brian, chime in. You're way smarter than I am. Brian is like one of the smartest people I know. I mean, shout out to you. And that the people that was trying to go after Trump was Republicans, and the people that's going after all these politicians is Republicans, right? Am I wrong?
Well, I know the boy who shot Trump in wherever it was outside, that boy was registered Republican, and they said that he was scoping both the Democratic National Convention and Trump appearances. So he just basically he got the first opportunity, which again, and I said this before, I'll say it again. There is no reason why he should have been able to get up onto that roof. There is no reason why he should have been able to fire that shot. It's either a planned thing that they did, or it was an extreme lack of security. So,
Brian chimed in, want to know what was written on my hand. I actually painted in the bathroom today, and this is paint that I couldn't get off my hands. It's on my pinky there as well, and I'm gonna have to go to work looking like this. Work with customers, matching up fabrics. Can I help you?
you get out
So
the turpentine.
uh I'm just gonna let it wear off. It's not a big deal to me. But yeah, thanks for asking, Brian.
But did you see the other big loss for the Republicans this week?
Uh hmm. I can't think. No, I mean, I've basically been kind of nose blind to news because of the only thing I see is possibly what I see posted on Facebook because I really stopped listening and watching the news. If I see like breaking news alert comes across my phone, I'll click on it right quick. But besides that, I don't watch the news anymore. I can't do it.
Well, You should love this one. And I've got an article pulled up from The Guardian, but Twitter turned on locations for
Oh,
their account.
I saw that.
And
Yeah.
like 95% of the MAGA accounts apparently are from outside of the United States. And like I said, this is from The Guardian here. I'll put up the article so everybody can see it. But yes, Twitter has cost MAGA a big issue here
Yeah, I
for the
saw.
simple fact that now it is very obvious that the trolls are foreign bots.
Yeah, I saw India, China, Russia, Argentina. I mean,
Canada.
Canada, everywhere, and they were like, they got thousands of followers, and I'm going, they are bots. These are people just, and I wish they could. There's some way, which I don't know that there would be. Is there some way they could like block them, you know, from the platform and see how many of followers that all the um GOP and people like that loses. But then again, that could also work for the Democrat side as well. So I bet there's a lot of bots out there helping them out as well. I mean, tit for tat. I mean, there's got to be. I mean, there's got to be.
I'm sure there are, but there's nothing as vocal as the bots for Trump. And now we have seen the proof that Nigeria, Russia, you name it, they're from other countries. And it's just it's not looking good for Trump because all the facts are coming out. And you know, the Epstein files, they did vote to release them. Trump did sign the bill, and the Democrats are pushing to get all the information out within the 30-day limit.
I've seen where some of the people are already talking about some of the stuff that's already been leaked, that's already been put out on TikTok, talking about they're actually reading paragraphs from it, and it's very damning that I'm seeing so far. Talking about
And
how even during the 2016 election, there was stuff going on at Mar-a-Lago with teenage children. So
well,
that's all I'm
just
going to
that
say about that.
one email where Trump sent, or not Trump, but Epstein sent the message to Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump was at Maxwell's or at Epstein's house for hours alone with the victim.
Yeah, it's not looking good, but um,
And they can say it was Virginia Giuffre that was supposed to be, but she can't defend herself now.
yeah.
So, but continuing the bad though,
Let's
the
talk about some
wonderful,
good.
well, we got to get through this first. The wonderful head of education, who is a wrestling promoter, has declassified several degrees as professional,
Oh yeah, that's right.
nursing being chief among them. And right now, what they're saying is that hurts financial reimbursement for the studies. But what I foresee happening is if it remains that like nursing is not professional, then they will no longer be hired on at the money they're making now.
No.
And that's going to drive an already understaffed profession further understaffed, and it's going to be a nationwide issue that's going to have major repercussions because when you go to the doctor, when you go to the hospital, who's the first to take care of you? The nurse.
Yeah, I saw. I'm not going to name names, but there's a friend of mine that he's the director of nursing. He teaches direct nursing at a. Uh, he works in a hospital, but he also teaches nursing in a hospital. I Does that make sense? I don't understand it. But anyway, he does. He's like I said, well, he's very smart to begin. There's a lot of smarter people than I am. But anyway, he put on some Instagram stories about talking, and he was very. You could tell he's very extremely upset about it and about what had happened. And I just it blows my mind, and it just wasn't nursing. It was accounting. It was um, it was a whole list of degrees that is no longer considered
Yeah,
professional.
there's several degrees, and I'm trying to find them in this article so I could say, but I'm not seeing them scanning through it real quick. I remember seeing an article that had the list, and I read through them, but I can't remember what they were right offhand. It's just nursing has been the focus. I want to say there was a teaching degree that was declassified as professional as well, which really does not make
I
sense.
don't understand why. What's okay? Let's just
Here we go. I've
play.
got it. Nursing, physician assistants, physical therapists, audiologists, architects, accountants, educators, and social workers.
Architects and accountants. I'm sorry, but that's a professional career.
Yeah. And
All of
accountants,
those are.
Trump doesn't want accountants to be there because they're keeping the books. They're
So
going to catch his tax fraud. He don't want accountants to be professional. He wants to
I
get rid of them.
I
So I
don't
can see why
understand.
that. But educators is on the list.
I don't understand the whole rationale behind that thinking. Who sits around there going, who can I piss off next? Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's go after architects. Let's go after nurses. Let's go after, I mean, who does that? I mean, it takes an evil mind to do something like that. And and then you have their yes people behind them going, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea." What positive outcome is this? I always think about what is the positive outcome of this? There's nothing positive about it. It's ultimately going to end up hurting doctors' offices, hospitals, clinics. It's going to hurt everything. Oh yeah, Brian put in my guess. It's Stephen Miller. He is the architect of meanness. I mean, he's like Hitler's. He's if Hitler had two nuts, he would be like the right nut. You know. I mean, he's just awful. That man is Stephen Miller is like probably Hitler's child.
Um,
I mean, I'm
Stephen
going to call
Miller,
it. I'll call a spade in a heartbeat, and I think that's what it is.
he is a horrible, horrible man. And but are you ready to get
Keep
on?
talking. Keep talking for a second. I got to get up for a second and close the door.
Well, I am going to move on from politics, which I know Paul will be thrilled by. But
Yes.
we have a new study out. This is from UF Health, University of Florida Health. Study finds COVID-19 mRNA vaccine sparks immune response to fight cancer. All those people who kept whining, well, why don't they put all this effort into fighting cancer like they're doing fighting COVID? Here's your answer. Fighting COVID is actually helping to fight cancer.
Are they saying the vaccines fights cancer?
It sparks an immune response to help fight cancer.
Hmm.
It is a step in the right direction. It gives them new things to study that they didn't have before. Every scientific breakthrough can cause so many more scientific breakthroughs, and that's what people don't look at with these vaccines. That the guy who swims in toxic waste and literally said under oath, "No one should be taking medical advice from me." They want to believe him because he says what they want to hear instead of actually listening to the facts.
I miss Dr. Fauci.
I miss having a sane government.
Well, you know what I mean.
It doesn't, it's no one person. I don't care. Just get rid of what we've got. I want to see all these treasonous, horrible people gone. But I did see today that there is one fear with the flu virus this year. There is a new strain that came up that is not part of the flu vaccine. So
Well,
be aware.
I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't had the flu in years. And I've worked with the public every year at Christmas time. Well, all the time. I work with the public with my day job and also when I worked 9 years at TG Maxx. It's been probably over 4 or 5 years since I've had the flu. I was taking the flu shot every year, and I know, Chris, go ahead and start wailing away on me. But ever since I stopped taking the flu shot, I haven't had the flu. I don't know if the flu shot weakened my system because my system is already compromised to begin with, 'cause all the radiation they pumped in my body and all the chemotherapy, 10 years ago, and everybody says, all the doctors keep saying, "Well, you're a compromised individual with your immune system," and I'm going, I'll just wash my hands, sanitize everything, and keep sanitizer around me at all times, and so far so good. I haven't had a cold. I haven't had a flu. I haven't had anything like that. I mean, not been sick. I've had like cellulitis in my left leg and some issues with my blood sugar, but that has nothing to do with anything that you can catch. Hello, can you hear
The
me?
the one thing I
McFly,
will
is this
point,
thing on?
yes, as I was trying to start
Did you
talking after
drift
you
off
said,
somewhere, Chris? Did you leave
no,
me?
I was listening to you and you keep interrupting me as I'm trying to tell you that I was listening to you. But what I was going to say, I've now forgotten because you kept on. Okay, so it was the flu vaccine we were talking about. Oh, it was in North Carolina, a Republican governor deemed that all healthcare workers have to get the flu vaccine every year. I don't care what anybody wants to say, it was Governor McCrory who deemed that for healthcare workers. So I have had to get the flu vaccine for the last 11, 12 years now because of that. So all these people who are mad about vaccine mandates for COVID, none of them want to remember that it was a Republican who mandated the vaccine for the flu. But I have to get the flu vaccine. And even if I didn't, I had a doctor who very much believed in the flu vaccine. I would get it anyways because of my doctor saying, who is now retired, but he actually pushed me to get the flu vaccine, and I trust his judgment.
Well, I'm not saying I'm an anti-vaxxer at all, but I'm not. But I've just been. I know. I think I'm an individual that's been very lucky that has not gotten sick, even not from a head cold or the flu. And I thank my lucky stars for that every day of my life, including my
Well,
painted hand.
I have luckily yet to ever get the flu.
Ever, even as a
Ever.
child.
Never have had the flu.
What?
I've been sick with different things, but I've never gotten the flu.
Child, I remember being so sick whenever I was a kid with the flu. I would cough so hard that blood would come up. It was that bad.
COVID was the one that hit me hard like that, but flu,
Yeah,
never
I
have
remember
gotten it.
you coughing your lungs out.
Yeah,
It was a couple weeks till we could do a show, and all of a sudden, when we started doing, he was like, ooh, 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 ooh," and I was
yeah,
like, "Good Lord."
talking made it worse. Like, and that was part of. I went back to work one day during that time, and when I had the mask on, it started making me hotter. The heat made me cough more. Having to talk at work made me cough more, so they ended up sending me home within an hour.
Yeah, no, whenever I got COVID, I didn't have the coughing part. I just felt bad, no energy. So thank God.
Well, like I've said before, I had COVID before I got the vaccine, and then I had COVID when I got the Pfizer vaccine. I got it twice after I got Pfizer. So I've gone back to Moderna and I will stick with Moderna.
I
But
had Moderna.
moving on, I've got an article just for Paul
Oh,
because I knew
really?
he'd be interested. Yep. There were some auctions this week. There were some record setting auctions this week, but one auction in particular they were talking about, I wanted to pull up because Paul would be interested. This is from parade.com, Parade Magazine. Gold watch from couple who died on Titanic together sells for historic sum. And I will scroll down here in a second to the picture of the watch because that's obviously not it. But they've got a picture from Instagram on here, and there is the watch.
Ooh, look at that pocket watch. Isn't that stunning? I bet that's gold too, isn't it? Wow.
That is gold. And I want to say it was 3 point some million. According to NBC News, a gold pocket watch that once belonged to first class passenger Isidore Strauss, who drowned alongside his wife Ida Strauss, has sold for a record breaking £1.78 million or $2.32 million. Auctioneers report that it's the highest price ever paid for Titanic memorabilia, NBC News reported on Sunday, November 23rd. The 18 karat Jules Jurgensen watch was engraved and given to Isidore for his 43rd birthday in 1888, the same year
Wow.
he became a partner in New York's Macy's department store, the news outlet also noted. It was recovered from his body after the ship sank.
Wow.
So the Titanic sank what, 1912?
Yep. April
So
15th,
that
1912.
in 14 years he would have been 57 when it if he'd already had his birthday that year, 56 or 57. So yeah, I knew Paul would be fascinated by that because Paul, for those that don't know out there, Paul is a very much a historian of the Titanic.
I love anything Titanic. And I love history just in general. I love going and visiting old cities. In fact, I went yesterday. Me and one of my friends went to Old Salem, and in the middle of Winston Salem. There's a town not too far from us called Winston Salem, and Salem was there before Winston was. So there's an old 1700s town, early 1700s town that is in the middle of all of downtown Winston, and the whole city of Winston got built around it. And all the buildings and all the things are still there. Period. There's still Salem College there, and it's a girls' college. So me and my friend Julie went there yesterday, and to see the houses and the businesses decked out in their holiday best, and they decorated with just like branches and berries and limbs from like palm branches and stuff. So I love that kind of decor. But anyway, yeah, I love old architecture. I love anything old. I think in a different life, I would probably be a his a history teacher. Or my ultimate dream is to work in a museum. Oh my God, I'd love to work in a museum. Please let that happen. Please, 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 please.
Well, you can make it happen. All you have to do is start applying.
Yeah, yeah, and I hope there's nobody I work with out there watching right now.
Uh, Brian hopes you had a good time on your trip there, and
Yeah,
he
I
did say
did.
that
Whenever I get
the
off of
pocket
here,
watch, which it was.
when I get off here, Brian, I'll send you over some pictures of that old town. It is stunning. It is beautiful. It's a small. You have you been to Old Salem, Chris?
I have not.
You really need to go. It is. If you want to tour the actual buildings, you can. Old Salem is open between on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And also go to the Winkler Bakery there. It's one of the oldest continuous operating bakeries in the United States. as George Washington was on his way from Washington, D.C. to go to Charleston for business, he actually stopped off and stayed in Salem there. And there's a one of the houses is a big house. It's their hotel, and he stayed there for 2 days as he came through town and went on down to Charleston to finish business. But George Washington stayed there several nights.
Well, the history in North Carolina that I want to go to is near Winston-Salem. It's the Woolworths counter in
In
Greensboro that they turned into a
Greensboro,
museum.
yeah.
That is one that I definitely want to do.
Now, if I'm
And
not mistaken, that no longer exists there. They actually have that in the museum. They took the actual counter and put it in the museum, if I'm not mistaken. But the actual Woolworth is still there. But the counter no longer exists in it. To preserve it, they put it in a museum.
well, I knew it was the Woolworths Counter Museum, but I don't
Mhm.
know. I've got to look into it, and I know it's in Greensboro
Yeah, I'm pretty
because
sure they actually took it out and
it's where
and
one
took
of the
the
first
entirety of it
actual
out
sit-ins happened.
to preserve it, to keep people from vandalizing it, because it's afraid somebody might vandalize it. So now it's protected. Because
Yeah.
here in the South, the racism runs deep. It still does to this day, and there's nothing we can really do about it. We can poo-poo on it. We can talk about how bad it is, but it's deep red states. I mean, it's everywhere. There's rebel flags everywhere being flown across the I-40, up and down, and it's disgusting. But nothing we can do about it. Just wait for the. I hate to say it. We gotta wait for that mentality to possibly
So
die away.
what we can do is push all of our friends and relatives that have sane thoughts and don't lead with hate to actually vote blue across the board until we get this horrible regime taken care of. And it's like I tell people, yes, there are lots of problems with the Democrat Party right now. However, the problems with the Republicans are a threat to everybody and far outweigh the problems with the Democrats right now. So if you want to make this country better, vote blue across the board, get your voice heard, get everybody you can to vote blue across the board, and then we'll work on the Democrats after that.
You
But
know
we've
what I
got to get
heard?
the regime out.
You know what I heard when you said if you want to make it, then make it a better place. I heard Michael Jackson. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change.
Well, moving on
Na na
because
na na
Carl
na
can't
na
sing.
na na
So
na.
from one record-setting auction to another record-setting auction, and this one was big.
You talking about the
The
hat?
No, the highest selling comic book in the history
Hmm.
goes to Superman #1.
Really? Who had that?
It was found in an attic, and it was given to be graded by CGC,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry. What?
that's where the 9.0 comes from, is the CGC grade. It brought in $9.12 million at auction.
I need to go through your attic, please. My Aunt Pat. Yeah. I need to go to your attic. I know you got boxes of shit up there. I'm looking for some comic books. Do you
You
have
gotta make
any?
sure they're in good shape. But the article reads, three brothers from Northern California discovered the issue of Superman #1 while clearing out their mother's attic after her death. The 1939 comic had been kept in a cardboard box protected by just a pile of old newspapers. Nevertheless, the comic, which originally sold for 10 cents, was found to be so well preserved that it was deemed the quote, highest ever graded copy by Dallas based auction house Heritage Auctions, which made the record breaking sale on Thursday. The brothers, who have not been named, found a collection of old comics while clearing out their mother's property over the holiday season last year, the auction house said in a press statement issued before the sale. Their mother had always told them she had a valuable collection of comics, but they had never seen the prized editions for themselves. It's not
Wow.
saying what else they had though.
Oh, by the way, boys, I can't afford to leave you anything, but there's a box of comic books in the upstairs if you're gonna go through them. What?
Well, I'd say 9.12 million was leaving them quite a bit.
Well, just think about the other comic books. If there's other ones, like, old comic books, they're still worth. I mean, if she had a collection of them, I mean, that's just the holy grail right there. And then what if the rest of them were worth a couple $100 a piece? They're still making out like vandals.
Uh,
Wow.
I mean, I would love to have some of those old comic books as well.
Whenever I was a kid, I collected comic books. I collected baseball cards. I mean, I collected the shit out of them. And my mama, God rest her soul, she threw away every bit of them.
See,
Everything.
I've got a lot of old comics still.
Everything I had, she threw it away. I had Spider-Man comic books. I had uh Iron
Speaking of
Man.
Spider-Man, I have one that's very valuable. It's not millions of dollars, but it's a couple hundred. They released a special black cover for the World Trade Center falling of Spider-Man, and I actually have that book somewhere. But that's probably the most valuable one that I've got. I've got X-Files comics. I mean, the original when the movie or when the show was still running, Topps Comics put out X-Files stories,
Yeah.
and I've got those. And I've got virtually every one of those issues, most if not all. I've got the Clive Barker superhero comic line. He did 4 different superhero comic books. Ecto Kid, Saint Sinner, Hokum and Hex, and Hyperkind were the 4 superhero comic books. I've got
Ecto
Pinhead
Kid.
comics. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that I've got, and of course, I've got quite a few Wonder Woman comics that I've never paid a lot for. But one thing was good when I got some of them. It was in a time when nobody was paying any attention to Wonder Woman because, let's face it, she's fallen through the cracks way too many times. But she actually had comics out that people didn't have high value on. So some of them are in good shape. And I got them for a couple bucks where they would be worth 10, 15, $20 now, probably.
Yeah, I've got some comic books in storage, but I'm not sure exactly where they're at. They're in storage bins, and what they are, I really don't know. But anyways, what we got next?
Next is my last story before paying tribute. So we'll do this one and then we'll do a little Thanksgiving talk for Paul because, like I said, I don't have much to talk about. But did you see the box office this past weekend?
I saw where Wicked like dominated 200 some $1 million in one weekend.
Worldwide, it
Yeah,
was estimated $150 million in the US alone.
and if I hear, oh God, if I hear one more person on Instagram or TikTok bitch about Dorothy's shoes being silver, I swear to God, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Her
Let's
shoes were
let's just
silver in the
point this out.
books. I'm like,
The story. If you had a history teacher like I did, shout out to Mr. Schmidt. He was a great history teacher. He actually taught us about the Wizard of Oz during class because it was part of the whole setting silver or gold as the financial standard in the country.
yeah,
Baum was all about making silver the standard of financial measure in the United States. That's why Dorothy wore silver shoes and walked across the yellow brick road,
yes,
silver over gold. The
silver of
Wicked
gold.
Witch represented gold, the Good Witch represented silver. These are historical facts that you can look up, and I suggest you do because that is the accurate thing. The reason they became ruby red slippers in the movie The Wizard of Oz is because silver wasn't as pretty in color as red was.
It didn't. They wanted them to spark, to dazzle when she walked, and silver didn't.
And I can point this out just through Wonder Woman because yes, I'm going to talk about Wonder Woman again, but when when I grew up watching Wonder Woman on reruns, they were not high definition copies. They were not cleaned up, and a lot of times they were on broadcast signals which were low quality. So you might have static in them. The picture resolution wasn't what they are today. So if you watch anything today compared to 20, 30 years ago, it looks a lot better now than it did then, just from the resolution of the broadcast. But when I got the DVDs and I was watching season 2 of Wonder Woman DVD, the red on her costume jumped out of the screen. It was so vibrant and it made a huge difference. Like you did not realize what you were missing before. And that's why the red shoes.
Yeah,
Like red just pops off the screen for some reason.
yeah. They wanted her to have the red shoes, and they ended up making 7 pairs to do the movie with. And the most recent pair went to auction, ended up selling for $33 million, if I'm not mistaken. The highest ever paid for any kind of movie memorabilia at all time. So, found out it was a conglomerate who actually bought the shoes. So there's not one single person owns them, but they are put into a safety deposit box waiting to resell in the future, hoping to make money with it. That's why they bought them at such a high price. So Judy Garland's items are going massive for sale. Just like her stage used microphone is made for her hand because it was a tiny little microphone. Um, Little thing, and it had Judy on it. That was supposed to have conservatively went for 7 to 8 thousand dollars. It ended up going for 44 to $48,000, and no one ever saw that coming. So her items are actually going for just astronomical lot amount of money right now. So, anyways, kudos to. I want to. I've never seen. Have you seen the first movie, Chris?
Wicked, yes. I have
Have you
seen the first one.
I've seen the stage play twice. I've seen it
I've not
twice.
seen it live, but I've seen the movie.
I haven't seen I've seen the traveling Broadway show twice. I do wanna see the movie. Um, yeah, and, I see it streaming on Prime right now for free, but anyways, yeah.
It the first one is really good. I watched it when it came to Peacock and really enjoyed it. The songs were great, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't have a problem with the people that were singing in the theaters because 1, I wasn't going to the theater. 2, I remember watching Grease when they re-released it in the theater, and singing along with everybody in the theater was so much more of an experience than just watching the movie would have been.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I had no problem with the people singing along with it. If I'd have been there, I'd have had no problem with it because they've been singing the song as it was being performed. You know, it's you're not missing anything from the movie. You're getting an enhancement. But people want to be mad about everything. But according to Deadline, it says Wicked for Good opened to 150 million domestic and 226 million around the world, beating Wicked's 112.5 million domestic and 164 million global start. Therefore, Wicked for Good beat Wicked in the following records: Best global and domestic opening for a movie based on a Broadway show, biggest global and domestic opening for Ariana Grande ever, biggest global and domestic opening ever for Cynthia Erivo, biggest global and domestic opening ever for filmmaker John M. Chu, biggest opening ever for a musical feature by Stephen Schwartz, Biggest domestic and global opening for producer Mark Platt. Biggest first day at the domestic box office for a movie based on a Broadway musical at 68.9 million. Biggest domestic previews for a movie based on Broadway musical at 30.8 million. Biggest opening ever at November domestic box office for a movie musical. And I mean, there's after that, there's second biggest and on and on. So they broke a lot of records this weekend.
That is freaking
And yes,
incredible.
some of them are tedious records that, oh, well, how much more can we narrow it down? But still, they broke records. And in a time when it is very hard for movies to succeed at the theater, a record breaking movie like this is a sign of hope that maybe theaters are coming back.
Well, that
And
reminds
as I
me.
told Paul, I would have gone to the theater tomorrow, but my stupid town did not get Rental Family with Brendan Fraser.
Well, there's another thing that premiered last week. Did you see it? The Michael trailer for the
I
upcoming
did not.
for the biopic by Michael Jackson's biopic coming out in April of next year. They actually released the actual trailer, the first trailer for it. And within the first 24 hours, it had already been viewed 116 million times.
I
And
did see though that apparently Paris Jackson is mad about it.
I have no idea why.
Something about not being consulted on the movie or something. I just saw a blip of it and I didn't really pay much attention. But there was something about her being mad about it.
Well, it was put out by the Michael Jackson estate. The Tom Branca, all of them had their hands in it. They've consulted many, many different people, from the ones who actually performed on his tours. They discussed with them, talked with them. There's everybody, his former bodyguards. I mean, it was everyone that was in his life that they talked to. So maybe she was unattainable. Maybe she made herself unapproachable to be able to do that. But it is the biggest biopic uh, trailer ever been seen before the movies come out. So I think the movie's going to be really big when it comes out. Maybe not as big as Wicked big, but we'll see.
I'm looking to see if there's anything coming up about it. Because, like I said, I didn't pay a lot of attention.
But I saw it and I sent it out to
Here's
several
something.
people. But anyways,
It's from people on, if I can get it to come up, people on Instagram. Paris Jackson slams dad Michael Jackson's estate executors in new filing says they've quote completely failed to invest 464 million. So it wasn't the biopic, it was the investment. Which I did hear something about they haven't reached the age to get the
nope.
how.
They're waiting for BG. That's what he's going by right now, which is Michael Joseph Jackson the second, which is the youngest one. They're waiting for him to turn 30 years old. They cannot gain control of the Michael Jackson estate until he's over 30. And he's not over 30 yet.
See, that to me is ridiculous making them wait until 30.
Now that was not the estate. That was Michael Jackson himself. That was a
I
stipulation.
figured that much, but still,
They're not hurting financially. They're not.
no, but let them have it at 25. Literally, like at 25, you're starting to be mature enough to handle what you're doing with that money.
I mean, Paris Jackson is a model. She's got all the. I mean, she's been in movies. She's been in videos. She's a model. She's got her own money. She does not need the Jackson family money. I mean, she's got her own, and the rest of them are doing really good for themselves as well. So, yeah.
Well,
But whenever he
the-
died, they instantly got $30 million apiece, and then so Catherine Jackson also got um I forget how many millions dollars a year to help take care of them because she actually got custody of them. So she raised them after that point.
and that's pretty much it until the tributes that I want to do at the end. So I guess it's time for Paul to talk about Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, there's always something to talk about Thanksgiving. I remember growing up whenever I was in Thanksgiving. Now I had a huge family growing up, and there would be like always 30 some people, or coming up to my grandma's house. Um, we would get together, have a huge meal. We had this big long table at grandma's house. It set like six, and I'm not lying. This kitchen set 16 people. One long, it's like a giant picnic table that went through the whole kitchen. And she would cook on top of the wood stove. She had ovens going. I mean, people would come over and we had these big dinners, and it was just wonderful, and we always drew names at Thanksgiving to see who we would buy for or who was, and whenever I became of age, when I was making my own money, I drew my cousin Bobby's name one year, and it's a girl, and I ended up getting her like as a prank. It was a see-through teddy thing, red, and I remember when she opened that, she died. The whole family died. We were just like, that was at Christmas, and there's just so many fond memories with me for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Um, every year, it was just awesome. I loved it. I looked forward to it. Then actually ended up transferring Thanksgiving over to my mom's house, so we'd have it here at my mom's house. We'd have 30 some people in his house, which is crazy. And now, people's died off, people's gone different directions, family members is gone, so but as Thanksgiving has evolved, it's evolved now into more or less Friendsgiving. So I spend that day with some friends for lunch, and then that evening I come home and I'm with my dad. So and Chris, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I am probably going to the in-laws' house because my brother moved to South Carolina last year, so
I didn't know that.
I don't yeah, I don't get to see him, and my other family is up north, and I don't have time to go, and they screwed up my schedule this year, so instead of letting me work my regular schedule where I'd work Thursday and be off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I work Thursday I'm off Thursday, work Friday, and then I'm off Saturday and Sunday,
Well, that's still not that
which I'm
bad.
not happy. Yeah, but I my regular weekend, I'm off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every weekend. If I'd have had that, I could have actually gone up to see my family had I wanted to on Friday and Saturday, but I wouldn't want to make that trip because it's over 5 hours usually with
Yeah.
stops and everything. So I wouldn't want to make that trip twice in 2 days.
No.
But the there's so much that I don't care about with the holiday since mom passed. Because without mom, she was the one who was always about getting together for the holidays, and she was the one who kept us going. And it's just not the same without her here.
Yeah, my
So
mom and my aunt was the matriarch of the family after my grandmother passed away. So after they passed away, it's kind of like it's just cousins. Brian chimed in and said, my family's never
I
been
see that.
close. So I'm volunteering at the Humane Society on Thanksgiving so I can play with some cats and dogs before I go to the hospital for several weeks. He's having a procedure done, uh, having chemotherapy done for he, Brian, chime in, help me. He's going to be in the hospital down and going to be down for the count for a couple weeks. So,
Well, what
um,
what I will say is I'm envious of Brian volunteering at the Humane Society because anytime you get to play with the dogs and cats, it's always fun, and they need it there.
oh,
That's
little
one
doggies and kitty cats.
And speaking of little doggies and kitty cats, we've had some kittens show up outside my house, and I think some of them have been killed somewhere along the way because at one point there was like 6 of them. Now there's three, but I have actually been putting out food for those kittens because I can't get them, and they will not come to you. But I've got mice, so I'm like, if I can get them to stay around the house and get rid of my mice, that'll help at least.
Oh, yeah, turn them into mousers. Just feed them once a day, you got it. So he said it's acute cardiac antibody mediated rejection. So we'll be putting prayers in for you, Brian, and sending strength and peace your way. And yeah, we'll definitely be keeping you in our mind and our thoughts and prayers.
Well, all I can say is by reading that, I have no clue what it is, but it does not sound fun, and I do not wish that on anyone. Ryan, I hope you get better real quick, and I hope they get everything taken care of right away.
He says, "Thank you. You're very welcome, and thank you for watching, and thank you for listening, and putting up with our antics for so long."
Yep. And what I was going to say was my first my first Thanksgiving that I worked was way back in the 90s, and I was working at the theater, and I was like, Thanksgiving's not going to be busy. People are going to stay home and have time with their family instead of go out to the theater. Boy, was I ever
I
wrong.
know. I'm sitting here going, "Dude, that's so busy."
Well, when you hear what movie came out, you'll understand why I didn't realize this.
Nobody
But
wants to be with their family.
well, growing up, that was what we did. The family got together. Of course, football game was on TV, which depending on who played, I didn't really care. But we got together, we were together, and you didn't have 15,000 things that you could watch on TV at that point. You didn't have the internet. So at the theater, we had, I believe, Aladdin and I know the Bodyguard. And both of those were very busy films that we were massively busy that night. And I did not expect it at all.
Oh God, kill me now.
But that was my first
I've seen
Thanksgiving
the
dinner.
Bodyguard maybe one time, and I've never seen Aladdin. Mm-mm.
Aladdin was actually really good. I won't watch the live action remake because the only Disney live action remake that works for me is 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, that was
Because
good. Glenn
one, it's
Close.
Dalmatians, and how can you not love them? Two, they actually did it well. The dogs didn't talk, so it was a believable story the way they presented it. It's not like, oh, let's make a live action Lion King, but it's all computer generated.
Yeah, Glenn Close did a good job in that film. So, but
He was great,
anyway,
and see that's one thing that I keep seeing Cruella and the movie Cruella. I was not a fan of because they made one of the worst people a hero in that movie. And I'm like, Cruella was a puppy killer. Like, Christy Nome, the puppy killer,
yeah,
she was that evil. So there's no excusing someone who kills puppies in my book. Dogs make everything better. Plain and simple. They just make everything better. And I don't know if you've watched it, Paul, but the other day, my dog was laying on the bed with me and she was asleep and she was wagging that tail away. I had to film her and it's on
oh,
YouTube so you can see it. But it was just so adorable. I had to record it and I've shown people and they just melt when they see it because she's so adorable. My sweet little
aw,
girl.
cute baby. Yeah.
But
So I want to thank everyone who's watching right now. Everybody stuck with us during the episode. It's 68 minutes long. So wow. So thank you so much for that. Chris, have we got anything else?
well, on the Thanksgiving, I was going to say there are some superhero episodes. Like Arrow had a Thanksgiving episode, Supergirl had a Thanksgiving episode. I believe Lois and Clark had a Thanksgiving episode, and I know Smallville at least had one Thanksgiving episode. So you do have that if you want to look for it. As far as movies, the only thing I can think of that's set at Thanksgiving is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Well, also Peanuts. Peanuts Thanksgiving. So
Well, yeah, and
that's
I
a
mean
huge tradition. So
there's all kinds of specials and such that have been put out, but I don't go looking for Thanksgiving fare to watch. Like I watch Christmas stuff, I watch Halloween stuff. Thanksgiving just kind of it's a day.
yeah, it's not a
But
season like Halloween and Christmas is.
right. And And it's strictly American, so well, U.S. because there's two continents of America. But I will say that I've seen some really good Thanksgiving episodes of such, but it's not that I actively seek them out.
Yeah. Alrighty.
But with that, I do have three passings that I want to talk about, two of which were announced today. So first up is Jimmy Cliff has passed at the age of 81. And the article I have is from the AP saying reggae giant and star of landmark film The Harder They Come. That's not how I know him. I know him from the remake of what is the name of the song? I can
Uh
hear it
oh.
in my head, but it's from Cool Runnings. And all the clouds have gone away. There's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead. There's nothing but blue skies. I'm coming up blank. I'm trying to find it down here. I know it's in this article, but if I wanted it to, if I didn't want to know it, it would be on my head. And now that I'm trying to name it, I can't think of it. But it was used in Cool Runnings, and it was a remake of a song.
You made the dogs howl.
I wasn't even singing; I was speaking. I'm about to come through this camera.
Bring it.
I will bring it.
Come on, boy. Mm, mm, mm.
I'm not finding it.
Where's my
And do you
noisemaker?
know the name of the song I'm trying to think
I
of?
have no idea. None.
You saw Cool Runnings, right?
No.
How have you not seen Cool Runnings?
Okay, let's go on to the next person.
Well, I'm trying to find the name of this song.
Let's find
I
it
need to know it now.
later.
I need to know it.
Okay, let's talk about the another person that passed away, and we can circle
Yeah,
back.
I'm looking up real quick because I'm going to find this song.
Oh my God, you're gonna. I'm dying over here.
I can see clearly now. I can
I
see
can see
clearly now the
clearly
rain
now
is
the rain
gone.
is come. Okay,
That that was the song he remade for Cool Runnings, and it was a very good song. That is what I know him from. But I did when I saw the article earlier, there was also a news story on there that said there was a death hoax of Jimmy Cliff saying he died at the age of 76. So apparently 5 years ago somebody thought it was funny to say that Jimmy Cliff died, which I find very disrespectful. They've killed
that's
Cher,
been
they've killed
they've been doing
all
that
these
for
other people.
years. I mean, how many
Yeah,
times have they said that shares died?
yeah, that's my point. It's not funny, it's not helpful, but it's just demeaning and it's hurtful to the family more than anything. Just have consideration. But Jimmy Cliff did have a true talent, and I can see clearly now it was a great song by him.
Okay, who's next?
Next is the reason I'm wearing this shirt. It says I'm a Jim Cornette guy, even though it's backwards, and I apologize because YouTube films me backwards and I can't fix it because I can't see what's going on if I turn the phone around. So anyway, Bob Caudle, who was a legendary wrestling announcer.
Oh,
He was
okay.
he was on Mid Atlantic Wrestling. He was on NWA Pro. But when Jim Cornette started Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Bob Caudle was the the host of the show with Dirty Dutch Mantel as his co-host. And I met Bob Caudle a couple of times, and one time I asked him if and I'm giving these people their props because they
I
deserve it.
know. I
So
gotta
stop
check my
quoting
blood
too.
sugar, Chris.
But the when I met Bob Caudle, I asked him where he went after Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and his response to me, I mean, it's been 10, 15, 20 years ago at least that I talked to him, but I still remember it. He goes, I think that was it. I think at that point I decided I was too old. And that just endeared him to me so much more because I was never a big fan of Bob Caudle. Like he was a professional and he did a great job, but I wasn't like, oh, it's Bob Caudle, I gotta watch it. But that really endeared him to me when he said I was just too old at that point. I stopped after that. But Bob Caudle was 95
Wow.
and he lost his wife earlier this year, which might have been the reason he finally went. But good life though. And he unfortunately he did work for Senator Jesse Helms at one point in time, but he was a weatherman for
God,
WRAL in
I'm so
Raleigh.
sorry.
So that's kind of how he got into wrestling was they
Senator
filmed the same studio.
Jesse Helms, good lord, that's a
Yeah.
legacy. Thank you for the 4 people that's watching right now. And by the way, we're getting ready to go off the air here in just a few minutes. But anyway, so who we got next?
Next is the final one that was announced earlier today, and it was one that actually surprised me. Udo Kier.
I have no idea who that
And
is.
Udo Kier has been in a lot of stuff, probably best known for My Own Private Idaho, but for me, he is best known as the guy in the Deeper and Deeper music video from Madonna. And I'm sure you'll recognize him. I mean, he has been in a lot of stuff.
Oh, I know his face. Yeah.
But it said he was also in the Erotica music video from Madonna.
Okay.
And Deeper and Deeper was just a fantastic song, and the video was fun. And Udo here, I saw that he never did hide his sexuality. He was openly gay. Like he didn't go, "Oh, hi, I'm gay," but he never hid it. And he was a German-born man. And My Own Private Idaho was the biggest thing probably that he was in. But it says he was in more than 200 titles, including Suspiria, Flesh for Frankenstein, Blood for Dracula, My Own Private Idaho, and Bacurau. And the two of them, Blood for Dracula and My Own Private Idaho, were Andy Warhol films.
Hmm.
So if that gives you any kind of indication as to the company he kept, he was right there in top notch New York society. But he's been in lots of things. He's one of those you may not know him by name, but you definitely know the face as soon as you see it. And I know he's played villains and heroes alike. So again, he was 81 when he passed away.
Brian chimed in with Kissing Joy Stefano.
I don't know that one, Brian. You've stumped me.
The mighty
I
Chris has
know
been stumped.
I know Kissing Jessica Stein, which I never watched, but I do not know Kissing Joey Stefano. Is that a Warhol film or is it something else? As we anxiously await Brian typing out
So,
because you can never type very fast. But
well,
anyway, if you don't know Udo here and you want to get a good look at him in a quick performance, just go pull up Madonna's Deeper and Deeper. He is very prominent in that video. And like I said, that is the first thing I think of when I think of him. And
I'll have to watch that.
what the Deeper and Deeper?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember seeing it back in the day, but I haven't watched a deeper and deeper video, and I can't tell you when. So I'm gonna have to pull that up. And I like the song.
it is a great song, and I mean Madonna videos, like her, don't like her, but you have to admit that her videos are very top notch. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Without the two of those, I don't believe MTV would have been the powerhouse it became for so many years,
Right.
which unfortunately is no longer because they no longer have music videos.
Kissing Joyce Stefani.
He is kissing Joey Stefani, I guess, in the picture. I don't
Oh,
know, but
Kissing Joy Stefani in the picture. Okay, okay.
I'm not sure. But anyway, well, no, he wasn't in. There was nobody in the picture. So, Brian, you've got me stumped. I really don't know what you're saying. Sorry about that, but
Alrighty. Is that it? Are you looking up kissing Joy
I'm
Stefani?
I'm looking it up because I don't know what that is.
He says, "Sorry, I'm trying to eat dinner and type at the same time." Ah, so
Well, I don't know if this is what it's it comes up. Did you mean Joey Stefano? The phrase kissing Joey Stefani refers to an expression of admiration for Joey Stefano, born Nicholas Anthony Iacona Jr., an American gay pornographic actor and model who died in 1994.
I have no clue. I have nothing.
So,
Okay.
Brian, you'll have to get back to us and let us know more details, and we'll get back with that. But as far as that goes, I think we are done with this episode. Again, if you get the chance, look up Bob Caudle and he was announcing wrestling. Look up Jimmy Cliff. He great talent there, and look up Udo Kier because the man had a lot of talent. So, Paul,
And
any final words?
I want everyone to have a wonderful and safe holiday. I want everyone to enjoy your time, whether it's with your family, whether you're petting kitty cats and doggies at the Humane Society. Remember your blessings. Send your stressings along, get rid of them. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week coming up. And we're going straight into the Christmas season.
And uh, I will say that Black Friday is coming up. Do not overspend. Do not spend beyond your
I'm not
means.
spending a damn thing.
Just remember, food is not cheap this year, and I don't care what anybody says about the price of Thanksgiving dinner being cheaper this year. Nothing that I'm buying seems cheaper
Mm.
this year than it did last year.
The only thing I plan
So,
on doing, maybe a Black Friday special, is on Walmart.com. I'm going to buy my daddy a new television because he needs one. So I'm gonna get that for him. That's the only thing when I buy. That's it.
yeah,
Alrighty.
um, I've had a message come up. I'm going to check it because Brian sent me a message on Facebook, and it's of course my computer is going really slow. So I want to get this in before we go. He was kissing Joey Stefano in Madonna's sex book. There
Ah,
you
the sex book.
go. Yeah, the infamous sex book that you looked through and it did not stay together well. Like it was a metal cover and then the metal like hooks in the side, so it would fall apart very easily if you looked through it too many times. I know they had it on display in some places and they fell apart within a day.
Wow. And that book wasn't
So,
cheap either.
no, it was like $50 when it came out in 92.
It's somewhere through there.
So, but
Alrighty.
I bought it because it was Madonna.
Of
Had to
course.
have it. But anyway, that is the end of our show. Thank you all that watched. Thanks for all the comments, Brian. I hope next time more people will chime in because we're always here to see what you have to say and respond and appreciate the feedback. So
Yes. And have a
until
wonderful
next time,
Thanksgiving, Chris. Happy Thanksgiving.
happy Thanksgiving, Paul, and everybody out there.
Alrighty.
Until next time, bye, everybody.